to the Made Easy Home Improvement Series. It's designed to help you do your own household repairs. In this episode, we'll deal with painting and wallpapering.
We've enclosed a booklet with this cassette designed to help you find the wallpapering or painting project in which you're interested. Simply match the chapter title and the color in the booklet with the chapter title in this video.
Wallpaper can add patterns and textures to your home. By following our instructions, you should have no problem in giving the interior of your home the appearance of having been professionally decorated according to your own tastes.
When painting, there's no single type of paint that can be used on every surface. There are different types of paint to meet every need. Preparing the surface is important. Unpainted surfaces such as wallboard or raw wood should be primed first. Walls that have been painted previously and are free from blisters, cracks, and stains can simply be dusted down. However, any walls that might have gathered grease, film, or stains should be washed with detergent and then rinsed before painting.
Any paint that's blistered or peeling must be removed and the area smoothed with sandpaper. If stains won't wash off, seal them with stain killer that's available at your paint store. Any protruding nails in woodwork should be driven in with a nail punch and covered with wood putty before painting. Protruding nails in wallboard should be reset with careful hammering, just so that the area around the nail head is dimpled, but not broken. Fill the dimpled area with patching compound. When dry, sand smooth and spot prime before you repaint. Any cracks in walls should be filled with patching compound, sanded smooth, and primed.
Glossy surfaces should be deglossed with a commercial deglosser. Otherwise, paint will not adhere to them.
Before starting, make sure to plan your work. Think about the look that you want and the surface to which the paint will be applied. Buy it with that in mind. Now, don't be afraid to ask questions at the paint store. The salesmen there are knowledgeable and eager to help you buy the right kind of paint for the surface and the look you want.
It's easy to determine how much paint you'll need. Measure and add together the width of all 4 walls. In this room, 2 of the walls are 22 feet. The other 2 walls are 15 feet. Then multiply that sum by the floor to ceiling height. In this case, it's 8 feet. When you get to the paint store, divide that figure by the spreading rate noted on the product's label. If you have large doors or windows, measure them and subtract from the square footage before going to the paint store.
Be sure that you use a strong step ladder. Open it fully, lock the spreader braces, and push the bucket shelf down as far as it'll go.
If you intend to brush the paint on the walls, you'll need a flat brush and a chisel brush. If you're painting window sashes, you'll also need a sash brush. If you intend to roll the paint on, you'll need a 9-inch roller and roller frame with a threaded handle for inserting an extension pole to reach high places. Sometimes a handle from a mop will fit, so check that out before you buy an extension pole. Get a medium 9-inch roller if you want a soft-looking stippled effect. The grating over the tray is used for removing excess paint from the roller. It's helpful, but you can get along without it. Remove all the switch plates and wall decorations before you begin.
Cover your furniture with lightweight drop cloths or old bed sheets, and the floors with heavier drop cloths. Or if you prefer, you can use newspaper. But remember that newspaper ink will rub off. Also, fasten them down with masking tape so that if paint does spill, the newspaper won't stick to your feet.
Your paint dealer will machine agitate your paint. But even if you use it right away, make sure and stir it with a mixing paddle beforehand. If you let it set for more than a day, make sure and stir it again before you use it. Also, you can keep your paint from dripping by attaching a plate to the bottom of the can with masking tape.
When you're ready to begin painting, you should start with the ceiling. We'll be painting ours a little bit lighter than the walls. Begin by making a bead around the edge of the ceiling. Take a chiseled edge brush, dip the brush in paint, and force it against the ceiling as shown. A thin line of paint will run along the edge of the ceiling. Smooth it to within about 1/16 inch of the edge.
Now attach the extension pole to the roller. Roll it into the paint over the grating to remove the excess. Rolling the first stroke away from you, make a W pattern about 3 feet wide. Then make an M over it. Don't press the roller too hard or the paint will drip. Roll slowly. Rolling too fast causes air bubbles on the painted surface and specks of paint will splatter throughout the room. Paint slowly and steadily until the entire ceiling is painted.
When you finish painting with your latex paint, clean your brushes and rollers with water and detergent.
Now we begin painting the walls with a different color from the ceiling. But first paint a strip about 2 inches wide in the corners between the two walls to be painted the same color. Like so. Do this to the ceiling edge, as well as around the doors and windows. Now dip your roller into the paint, draw it along the grating to remove the excess, and make a 3-foot M near the ceiling. Now make a 3-foot W over it, then fill in with smooth, even strokes. Always paint a room from top to bottom: ceiling, walls, doors, woodwork, and baseboard. Remember, your first stroke should always be away from you.
If you prefer to use a brush, just make sure it's heavy with a stout handle. We like to use cleaned and dried coffee cans to hold our paint. The brush dips in just to the right depth, about halfway up from the tip. When the brush is withdrawn, lay the bristles against the upper portion of the can. That drains just enough paint so that it spreads evenly. Apply the paint to the wall with up and down strokes. But remember not to end with a downstroke, as paint has a tendency to flow downward anyway.
Use a plastic paint shield to protect areas where you don't want paint to spread. Protect areas such as windows or breaks in color with masking tape. Remember that masking tape has a tendency to dry and be difficult to remove, so pull it off as soon as it has served its purpose.
We like to use the oil-based enamel on doors, window sills, and trim work because it's more durable and not as thick as the latex enamel. Sometimes door jambs will stick when you use the latex.
If you follow our Made Easy instructions, we know you'll be as pleased as we are with the end result.
When you have finished painting, clean the paint from containers and applicators before it has a chance to dry. Water-based paint cleans off with water. while solvent-thinned paints are cleaned with the solvent recommended on the paint container. Dry everything with paper towels. Strain the unused paint back into the can and seal the cover tightly by placing a cloth over it to prevent splatters. Then tap the can's edge with a hammer. Store all paints and solvents out of children's reach. Wallpaper can create various moods, such as nostalgia, romance, informality, or sophistication. When you're choosing your wallpaper, really think about the room where it's going to go. If it's an area that will have a lot of heavy traffic, you'll want to choose a vinyl wallpaper that can be sponged clean. Now, wallpapers with dark backgrounds will make the room appear smaller, whereas ones with lighter backgrounds will make the room appear larger. Wallpapers that have vertical designs will make the ceiling appear higher, and ones that have horizontal lines will make the room appear wider. Colors also make a difference. Reds, oranges, and yellows are the warmer colors, whereas greens and blues are cool colors.
Wallpaper is priced by the single roll, even though it might be packaged in bolts of double or triple rolls. Multiple rolls reduce waste. It's manufactured in runs or die lots, which means that long strips are printed from single die batches. All rolls from a single die batch and pattern have that die batch and pattern number printed on a piece of paper tucked inside the roll. Save that piece of paper in the event that you run out and you need to buy more. It's best to start each project with enough paper and then check the store policy about credit when returning unused rolls.
When you're figuring out how much wallpaper you need, bear this in mind. No matter how wide, a single roll consists of anywhere from 25 to 30 usable square feet. You have to expect to waste about 6 square feet per roll. Measure around the 4 walls of your room and add those figures together. Our room is 10 by 12 feet. Multiply that sum by the ceiling height, or in our case, from the ceiling to the chair rail. Divide that figure by 27, which is the approximate number of square feet in a roll. Because of waste in matching, don't deduct for small windows or doors. When buying wallpaper for a ceiling, multiply the length times the width and divide that by 27.
Old wallpaper should be removed both when painting and repapering. If the previous paper was vinyl cloth-backed, you're in luck because it can be easily removed by loosening an upper corner, like this. If it's not so easily removed, you can soak paper off with a sponge dipped into hot water to which a wallpaper removal chemical has been added. You can buy this at your wallpaper store. Make sure and wear rubber gloves to protect your hands. After all the paper is removed, the wall should be repaired as shown in Part 1, painting. Then size the wall so that the paper will stick to the walls. Prepared sizing is available at your paint store.
You can purchase a kit of wallpapering tools at your wallpaper store. They're inexpensive, and if you care for them properly, they'll last many years. You also need a plumb line and chalk.
We're going to begin by showing you how to hang paper that's unpasted. Later on, we'll show you how to apply paper that's pre-pasted. It's best to start pasting the first wall strip to the right of a door or window. Measure the width of the paper, subtract 1 inch, and mark the wall. Once you select the place where the first strip will be placed, You need to plumb the wall using a plumb bob. You want your first strip to be applied perfectly straight. Take the chalked plumb line and tack it on the wall so that it covers the width mark. Hold the plumb line taut at the baseboard and snap it against the wall. The first strip must be hung just to the left of the chalk line. All remaining strips will be to the right of the first strip.
When measuring your first strip, add an extra 2 inches at the top and bottom for trimming. Now unroll the next strip and match the pattern. The paper we chose matches easily. There'll be a little paper wasted at the top when you match. Don't worry, that's normal. Remember to match your design with the next strip. It's difficult to match paper that's already been applied to the wall, so match each strip as you work. If the roll seems to be wasting too much for a match, check another roll. It might be less wasteful. Place your first strip face downward on the table. Always use craft paper to protect the table you're working on, because if you use newspaper, the ink will rub off. Be careful to cover the entire surface with paste. Unpasted areas will show up as blisters after it's been applied to the wall. We purchased our paste already mixed at the store. It's easier than mixing it ourselves. Fold the top over itself. Then paste the rest and fold the bottom up over itself. Align the first strip with the right edge on the chalk line. Now run a smoothing brush down the center and work toward the edges, brushing out the air bubbles, wrinkles, and excess paste. Unfold the lower portion of the strip and continue as before. When finished with the whole strip, use a putty knife to guide the blade in trimming excess paper at the top and bottom edges.
When applying the second strip, make sure that the pattern matches. Butt the edge of the second strip against the edge of the first and continue until the entire strip is applied. Go over the entire strip with your smoothing brush to make sure all of the strip is sticking to the wall. Trim the excess paper at the top and bottom. And complete that strip by running the seam roller over the seam. If you notice any parts of the seam that are not sticking to the wall, use an artist's brush to insert wallpaper paste directly under that spot on the seam. Smooth it with your fingertips, and then run a seam roller over the area. Continue matching and measuring your way around the room.
If you're using pre-pasted paper, you would have prepared the wall the same way, and you'll need a water box in which to dip the paper. Reverse the strip so that the pattern is on the inside. Fill your water box about 2/3 full of cold water. Submerge your roll for the period prescribed on the instructions. Allow the strip to remain on the board for 2 to 5 minutes. This gives the paper time to expand and allows the water to permeate the paste. Your paper will wrinkle on the wall if this step is omitted. When the proper time has elapsed, align the strip along the chalk line and follow the directions previously given for wallpapering a wall. After you finish papering, dispose of small scraps of paper. Keep a paper bag handy and pick up as you proceed. Any large pieces can be saved for patching in the future. Clean your papering tools in detergent suds. Any wallpaper paste that might have gotten on the baseboard or woodwork can be wiped away with a wet cloth because all wallpaper paste is water soluble.
If you're planning to wallpaper the ceiling as well as the walls, as in painting, start up here first. We've decided not to paper our ceiling, but we'll give you a few good tips. First, if the ceiling's badly out of square, it would be better to paint it because of the problems of aligning papers of uneven width and length.
It is more difficult to paper the ceiling than the walls, but a helper makes the job a lot easier. Select a ceiling paper that doesn't need matching. There are a lot of attractive unmatched designs on the market. As in papering your walls, measure and mark the width of the paper and place a tack there in the ceiling just a few inches from the wall. Then place a tack in a corresponding point on the opposite wall. Tie the plumb line to the tack so that it's taut. About midway, pull the string down and let it snap against the ceiling. This is the guideline for placing your first strip. The procedure then for pasting and wallpapering on the ceiling is the same as we've shown you for your walls.
Remember what the room looked like before we started? Well, here's the end result. Isn't it worth it?
It sure is. I can't believe the difference. Another wall decorating idea is to use a mural. Murals are wall-sized pictures which are reproduced for special decorative effects. They're available in a variety of materials and designs and are sold already cut into strips rather than rolls. What you'll usually get are several unpatterned strips that are made so when you put them together, the ends reach the corners of the walls.
And the other walls in the room can be painted or papered in colors that complement the mural.
For those of you who might like to try a mural, here are some basic tips. Before you purchase your mural, make a sketch of the wall, indicating the width and height. If you plan to run the mural around a corner or use companion paper, make sure to sketch the other wall as well. Indicate where the doors and windows are. That'll help your dealer to suggest designs and companion papers if you desire. You'll also need to figure the number of blank strips you might need for the ends.
For best appearance, murals should be hung on very smooth walls. It's for that reason that we recommend you use a lining paper first. You've already learned how to apply paper in our wallpapering chapter. Lining paper gives a smooth surface for the mural and also speeds drying. The mural comes already cut into strips with enough extra paper at the top and the bottom to allow for positioning on the wall.
The manufacturer of the mural will include instructions recommending the order in which the strips should be hung. But here's an example. The sequence numbers are also printed on the mural strip. As you can see, unlike wallpaper, you usually hang the center strip first. Some murals come in full-length strips, while others come divided in 2 parts. If yours is in 2 parts, you'll need to mark a horizontal line as well as a center line. As you apply each strip of the mural, you'll be thrilled to see your wall taking the form of a beautiful picture.
Well, this concludes our show about painting and wallpapering. Don't forget to look for our other episodes in the Made Easy series.
They're designed to show you how to save money by doing your own home decorating and repairs.
Painting and wallpapering is just one in our series. Additional subjects cover plumbing repairs, electrical repairs, safe and warm, remodeling, and more. For information on where you can purchase our other Made Easy home improvement videos in your area, call 1-800-328-TAPE.